Welcome, learners, to today's explainer. We are diving straight into a truly profound sugya in Masechet Hullin Daf 58. Think of this explainer as your ma'areh mokamot for our daily learning, guiding us through some deep internal truths of our Masorah. Here is a quick look at the shiur ahead. We'll start with the survival signs of a Tereifa, move right into its reproductive capacities, explore some fascinating biological axioms about boneless creatures, and finally, wrap up with the extra limb principle. All right, section 1. Let's look at the fundamental diagnostic halacha of a Tereifa. So the Gemara tackles a critical question. What happens when an animal's mortal status is uncertain? Maybe it fell, maybe it was attacked, and we just don't know if it's a Tereifa, meaning it has a terminal injury. While the Tanaim have a machlokes over the exact timeline, Rav Huna steps in and establishes a powerful baseline of 12 months. If you wait 12 months and that animal survives a full cycle of both summer and winter weather without dying, well, it is definitively kosher. It's a brilliant metric. It proves the animal is robust enough to survive the year, meaning it absolutely does not have a terminal defect. Moving to section 2, reproduction in a Tereifa. Now our sugya shifts from mere survival to the deep halachic implications of this terminal status on reproduction. Can a Tereifa even give birth or produce eggs? Rav Akka Bar Yaakov rules that yes, a Tereifa actually can give birth, but it gets highly complex with poultry. A Maimar teaches us about the shichala. So what's a shichala? It's the first clutch of eggs that were literally in the bird's oviduct at the exact moment it became a Tereifa. Because these eggs are considered an intrinsic part of the bird's body at the time of the injury, they share its terminal status. That means this entire first clutch is strictly prohibited for consumption. But what about the eggs that come after? If an egg is fertilized later by a kosher male, we introduce a profound axiom, ze veze gorem. Literally, both this and that cause it. We have a prohibited cause, the Tereifa mother, and a permitted cause, the kosher male. The halacha tells us that when a permitted and a prohibited cause operate together like this, the joint result is miraculously permitted. This leads the Gemara to a famous machloket regarding the offspring of a mammalian Tereifa. Rabbi Elazar strictly forbids the offspring of a Tereifa for the holy altar, arguing the fetus inherits the mother's terminal status. Rabbi Yehoshua, on the other hand, remarkably permits it to be sacrificed. So, what is the crucial svara, the halachic reasoning behind Rabbi Yehoshua's ruling? It all rests on the concept of ubar lav yerech imo. A fetus is not considered the thigh of its mother. Because the offspring is independently healthy and robust, it does not share the mother's terminal defect. It stands completely apart, complete and kosher. Now the Gemara asks a beautiful question. Why frame this dispute around the incredibly high stakes of the altar rather than just everyday consumption? It's to teach us kokha dehitria adif. It is preferable to emphasize the power of leniency. You see, establishing a strict ruling out of doubt is simple, but it takes immense erudition and an absolute mastery of the Masorah to confidently establish a lenient ruling within our Holy Torah, permitting this animal even as a sacrifice to the Most High. Let's turn to section 3, where the Gemara presents some profound biological axioms from our Masorah. Rav Huna teaches a fascinating rule of nature designed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Any creature without bones simply cannot last 12 months. The Gemara applies this biological axiom directly to halacha, specifically regarding infested fruit. Take the kashrut, the serpent melon. If it was infested while attached to the ground, those worms are biblically forbidden as swarming things. But if that melon is stored in a jar for a full year, any newly hatched worms inside are completely permitted. Why? Because the original boneless worms could not have survived the 12 months. So the worms currently inside must have hatched after the fruit was detached, meaning they never swarmed upon the earth. And this brilliantly illustrates the specific lifespans dictated by our Masorah. A bouquet, a mosquito, has a maximum lifespan of less than 1 day. A divdiva, or fly, lives less than a year. And 12 months is the absolute maximum limit for any boneless creature in Hashem's creation. But the Gemara builds some incredible narrative tension here. Rav Papa questions Abaye, citing a famous folk adage. Didn't people say a female mosquito revolted against the male mosquito for 7 years? Well, how could she live 7 years if a mosquito doesn't even live past 1 day? Abaye masterfully resolves this. He notes another folk saying that a mosquito's bite carries the weight of thousands of iron dinars, which obviously refers to tiny mosquito-sized currency. In the same way, Those 7 years of revolt, they refer to internal mosquito years, the insect's subjective experience of time, not 7 human years. It's a brilliant distinction. Finally, Section 4, the extra limb principle. How does the halacha view an animal with an extra appendage? It all comes down to Rav Huna's profound principle. Yetar kanatol dami. Any extra limb is considered exactly like a removed limb. You see, an extra appendage fundamentally acts as a physical deficiency because it damages the perfect core structure designed by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Let's look at how this applies. We know a missing foreleg leaves an animal kosher, but a missing hind leg renders it a tereifa. So, applying Rav Huna's rule, an extra foreleg is considered exactly like a missing foreleg. It's just a blemish, disqualified for the altar, but perfectly kosher to eat. However, an extra hind leg is treated as if a hind leg were completely severed. That extra limb completely renders the animal a tereifa. And this logic extends to internal chambers as well. Mar bar Rav Ashi and Rav Oshaya engage in a deep sheklavataria over extra tubes connecting the reticulum to the omesum, or rumen. For instance, an animal with 2 sika, or blind intestines, is a tereifa unless they merge. The Gemara strictly determines tereifa status based on what is standard in Hashem's exact design for that specific species. What might be a terminal defect in a mammal could actually be completely kosher and even common in a bird. The halacha demands an exacting, precise knowledge of Hashem's creation. So what other profound secrets of Hashem's creation are hidden in the anatomy of these creatures? And how deep is the wisdom of our Masorah in unraveling them? May HaKadosh Baruch Hu grant you success in your learning. Please continue to master the Holy Torah, keep watching, keep studying, and subscribe to the YouTube channel at daf hayomi_a.